Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome to a different sort of video. So in today's video I am going to be giving you guys a rundown of my new roster website, which I am very proud of. I've been putting a lot of work into this over the last 2 weeks or so. Literally I've had days where I spent the entire time just making this website. So I'm very proud of it. It is throwbackrosters.net, just in case you guys don't know. But yeah, I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a rundown on the website, as well as plans that I have for other features down the road. And if you guys have any plans and ideas for features that I could add, let me know down below in the comments, and there is a chance that I could add it to the website, depending on if it's something in my actual limitations of ideas and stuff like that. So anyways, let's get into this website. So this is just the generic homepage. As you can see, we got a nice little slideshow going with all my rosters, kind of. 1979-80 is not done yet, just so you know, for the actual rosters itself. So I am still adding player ratings and stuff to the player rating screen. But yeah, the roster build itself won't be out probably till maybe a couple weeks still, depending on if it is ready to go when I test it out and stuff. So anyways, let's scroll through this. I do have a nice tips part that actually shows you guys how to make a throwback custom roster. So it gives you all the steps on creating all the jerseys, and then also obviously removing the rights to all prospects and that type of thing, because all these type of things are very important in order to get something that actually works for franchise mode, if you are making it for franchise mode. Then below that, I also have some helpful resources for throwback builds. So I have some links for contract information, player and team information, player facial information, basically everything that you would need to make your own roster if you're making a roster for a different season. So there is the homepage, just a generic homepage. Then you go over here to roster builds, and as you can see, we got a bunch of different pages. We got 1979-80 rosters, we got 1992-93, which this build never actually came out, so it does have screenshots for every team. It does not have draft classes though, but it does still have every player's information that you would need for that. 1996-97 rosters, we have 2001-02, 2006-07, and 2010-11. So let's go over to my 1979-80, since this roster build is pretty close to being done. I do have to make the last draft class pretty much, and then I have to test run everything and make sure everything works as good as it should be. But as you can see, there is how to set up player ratings, jerseys, and arenas. So the how to set up page, this is where I am going to be showing you guys how to set it up for custom league. I do have the how to set it up for custom league for all of these builds. Now all of these builds below 1979-80 are not in NHL 23, so you would have to make these in NHL 23 in order for you to be able to use the how to set up part. But it is a showing you of how you guys could use it in custom league, because custom league is probably the best place to use custom rosters now. But you can see with 1979-80, for example, I have also the generic settings, so how many teams you're supposed to have, how many teams in each conference, divisions, that type of thing, how many games. Below that, I also have the playoff format, all that stuff that you would do for custom league. Also, all of the custom team substitutions, so for example, Arizona becoming the Winnipeg Jets, because this is 1979-80, that type of thing. Also, I have all the AHL substitutions, because I did make AHL teams for this roster. That's something that I haven't really talked too much about, but there is AHL teams. They don't have full-on rosters, but they are substitution teams. So for example, Grand Rapids, which is Detroit's AHL team, becomes the Adirondack Red Wings, so that's something to keep in mind when you're going through my roster build when it comes out in a few weeks and all that type of thing. And then also I chose all the AHL affiliates. So as you can see, Atlanta's, I made as the Kalamazoo Wings, which are actually an IHL team, because there was only 10 AHL teams at that point in time. So I had to kind of make some IHL teams as well and that type of thing to get 21 AHL teams. Below that, we also have the division realignment, so how each division is supposed to line up. So you got the Patrick division, the Smythe division, the Adams division, and the Norris division. Below that, we also have the AHL realignment. So I have an AHL conference basically with 11 AHL teams, and then on the other side we have the IHL conference, which is a combined 10 IHL teams from that season to get the 21 AHL teams. So there's that, and also some other settings that you guys could do for gameplay and all that type of thing. So yeah, that's basically just a little how to set up thing. I think it helps out quite a bit once you guys actually download this roster and get to this page. It will be able to help you out quite a bit in terms of setting that up for custom league once this build is fully done, which hopefully is pretty soon, because I've been working on it quite hard the last couple months, I'd say. Now let's go over to the player ratings page. This is the most interesting page, I think, on this website. You can see I added every single NHL logo from that point in time and made these kind of cool little designs. Now I don't have the rights to use these logos, but I feel like it's still a good use of using these logos. Like, I feel like I can't get really in trouble for using these logos. So I did also put a disclaimer below that I do not own any of these logos, just because I don't want the NHL saying, hey, we have to take these down. If they do still say that, I will probably just remove the logos and keep like the colored boxes, and I don't really know what I could do. Maybe we just put like Atlanta inside there and text and that type of thing. But you can see you can choose between which team you want to see. So for example, if we wanted to see the Colorado Rockies from 1979-80, we're going to click on this link here and it's going to open it up. It's actually supposed to open it in a new tab, so that's a kind of a bug that I might have to fix. But as you can see, it comes up with every single player rating and attributes and stuff like that. You'll also be able to get the X factors from these screenshots as well. So these are all pretty helpful. So there's all the forwards, you also got all the defense, and you also got all the goaltenders too. So that way you could create the full-on team from 1979-80. As you can see, I could click on the screenshot, see that, oh look, Jack Valakut is an 84 medium top 6, and I could see all his individual attributes, his X factors as well. And yeah, that's basically how the roster rating pages work. So you can just click on any of these. This NHL one here is for all the draft class prospects, so you're going to click that. See, it opens in a new tab normally, but for some reason the Colorado Rockies one isn't, so I'm going to have to fix that up. But you can see now all the draft class players for each year. So 1980 draft forwards, so these are all the forwards that would be in the year 1 draft in my roster build. Below that, we also have the 1980 draft defense, so all the defenders that will be in the 1980 draft, and then obviously the goaltenders, and then I'll have the other years as well, like 1981, 82, and I'm going all the way up to 1983 in this roster, so it's going to be very exciting once I finish all that up. So that is the roster rating stuff. I did this type of design thing for every single roster build, so like if you guys go to, for example, all the way up to 0607, and you go to the player rating page, you can see that I did this as well, and you got now like the nice Atlanta Thrasher stuff as well. Like, I'm very proud of how these pages turned out. I think it looks pretty sick. I'm just really hoping that I could actually use those logos in that spot, and like I said, I don't own those logos, so hopefully the NHL doesn't gun me down for doing that type of thing. Okay, so the next part is the jersey page from 1979-80. So if we click on the jersey portion here, it should load up. It's a bit of a slow website at the moment, just because I've added so many images and stuff like that to this website. Like, I think we have like 5 gigabytes of like images and all that type of thing, so it does take a while to load some pages up, so you might have to wait a little bit for one page to load, which for some reason this one is taking extra long today. I don't know why. Let me try and re-get this to go a little bit quicker. I don't know why it's taking so long. It's probably all those images that it's trying to load up, but yeah, basically the website is a little bit slow. I don't know how slow it is on mobile, but I wouldn't recommend using the website on mobile unless you guys have to, because the website on mobile is probably not as good as it is on desktop. Yeah, this is being really slow for some weird reason. That's strange. Let me go back to the home page and try and get this to go faster. I don't know if my internet is just being bad or the website's being this bad. Okay, there we go. It finally loaded. So as you can see on this jersey page, which is throwbackrosters.net/7980-jerseys, and it'll change like that for everything. You can see that we have every single jersey for every team, also all the logos that you'd want to be using, jersey information, font information, and the pant and sock styles and all that stuff. And you also have every team's color. This is something I added actually just over the last 2 days since I put out this website. A lot of you guys for some reason wanted to know the exact colors, so I put the colors for every single team. And I also put the hexadecimal value just in case for some reason if you're making these into YouTube videos, you could literally copy the exact color and put it into your thumbnail design and that type of thing. So we have like all that for every single team and every single roster built out there. And as you can see, it looks pretty nice and clean. I like how the design looks with that. It probably looks kind of interesting on mobile, but I haven't really checked it out too much. But yeah, so that's all of that. And the final thing is the arena page, which is pretty basic. It's literally just an image and it says what arena it is. It doesn't have any description on how to make the arena, but if you guys want that type of information, I could always put it. Now, another few things that I actually wanted to add to this website, since I might as well get into this. the first thing was I was thinking about adding goal horns, but I feel like it could slow down the website quite a bit. So like I'd add like a sound effect thing down below here, and you'll be able to hear the goal horn and stuff like that if there is goal horns for these teams. Now, for example, in 1979-80, there was no goal horns in the league, so none of these teams would have any. But for example, if you wanted like the Canucks goal horn from 1996-97, it is quite a bit different than the one that they have nowadays. I could always upload that as a sound file, but I feel like it could be a lot of work doing that type of thing, so I might not add that feature down the road unless you guys really needed to. Or you guys could just ask me for what I did for it when we get to that point. Another few things I want to add to this website for sure are the facials and gear and equipment stuff. So you guys want facial information and gear and equipment information for every single player. That type of stuff is going to take a lot of work to add to the roster site, but it definitely is something I really would like to add, because then you guys could learn how to make exactly like Saku Koivu from like, I don't know, 2010-11 or 06-07, that type of thing. So those are the type of things I want to have on the roster site maybe down the road, but it will probably take quite a bit of work. And then also I got recommended by Mike Garbrandt on Twitter, I think it was. He said that he wants me to add like a page for custom ideas for like custom teams and stuff like that for expansion. So if I put like, I don't know, the Houston Sharpshooters or the Anchorage Ice Tigers into a page, and then basically you guys could learn how to make those type of teams, so you could use those for expansion mode. But like the thing is, I don't really know if it really applies to the throwback roster type of thing, but if that's something you guys want me to add as like a side thing, I might be able to do that. And then the final thing that was recommended to me just yesterday on Twitter as well is to add contract information, because at the moment I do not have contract information on the website. So I could always go to, say, this Atlanta page, for example. I could always just add a screenshot of the player's contract information right behind that type of thing. So that's going to be another couple thousand screenshots, which is ridiculous. So I could do that, or I could probably add some sort of like a chart or something with every single player's contract, and then you guys could just like get that information like from below here or something like that. Like, I don't really know exactly the best way of putting that type of stuff out. But I could always put that contract information there. But like what I would say is, if you guys need contract information at this moment, go to Hockey Zone Plus. They are a very helpful website. You could see that, for example, like I could look up, like, who do I want to look up right now? Let's look up Martin Brodeur, for example. This website has helped me out with a lot of roster builds. And if you just search, like, say, Martin Brodeur, for example, you could find out that he made over $81 million over his entire career. And then if you click on his page, you can actually see his contract breakdown for every single year. Some players don't have it as specific, but for Brodeur, for example, you could see that starting in 95-96, he started making 1.5, and then he made up to $2 million in 97-98. Then he looks like he got a big contract, which obviously he did, because it says right here that he got a 4-year deal. So I basically just look for inflations in contracts in this page, and you guys should be able to come up with a reasonable salary. So for example, he just signed a 4-year contract here. You know that this is 4 years. And then in 2002-03, if you're doing an 02-03 build, you could see that he was getting paid over almost $7 million. So I would do that for the next like 4 seasons, just up until like the end of the lockout. And then it says at the start of like 2006, he signed a 6-year deal, so you could give him a 6-year deal at $5.2 million. And that type of thing. So some players are a little bit more in depth than others, but this website really helps me out in terms of contracts and that type of thing. So, but yeah, anyways, that is basically my roster website so far. If you guys have any, like I said, feedback for things you want me to add to this roster website or all that type of thing, let me know down below in the comments, and I will get back to them, and maybe I'll add them to the website in the coming weeks or whatnot, depending on how much time I'm spending on my 79-80 rosters and all that type of thing. So let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.